Donald Trump is seeking a third term as president, and he claims that this is absolutely not a joke whatsoever. Okay, so we'll put this up on the screen now. This is from a interview that came out of NBC where Trump sat down with a couple of their journalists. Trump won't rule out seeking a third term in the White House. He tells NBC News there are methods for doing so. President Donald Trump said in a Sunday morning phone call that he was not joking about a third term, adding that it is far too early to think about it. So let me just start off by saying this. Can he do this? Technically, yes. Technically, no. It's kind of complicated, but you never really know with Donald Trump or where he's trying to go or what he's thinking. But let's get into more of the details first here. This is from NBC News. Again, this is from his interview with Kristen Welker, Megan Lebowitz. President Donald Trump did not rule out the possibility of seeking a third term in the White House, which is prohibited by the Constitution under the 22nd Amendment, saying in an exclusive interview with NBC News that there were methods for doing so and clarifying again that he is absolutely not joking. A lot of people want me to do it, Trump said in a Sunday morning phone call with NBC News. But I mean, I basically tell them we have a long way to go. It's very early in the administration. NBC News asked about the possible scenario where Vice President J.D. Vance could run for office and then pass the role to Trump. Trump responded that that's one method, but there are other methods too, Trump added. Asking to share another method, Trump simply responded by saying no. Okay, so let's kind of break down what can happen and what can't happen. First of all, as most people thought, there is a 22nd Amendment of the Constitution which states that a president cannot serve for more than two terms. What it actually says is a little bit more technical, but we'll get to that in a second here. So, the way to bypass this from a traditional standpoint would be to amend the Constitution, something that I doubt Donald Trump even has the ability to try. Even if he did, I cannot see any scenario where it would actually work. This is the reason again why when I hear conservatives talking about like, oh, they're trying to take our guns away, it's like you don't actually understand what it would take to amend the Constitution. I mean, first of all, you need to have a two-thirds vote in the House of Representatives. You need to have a two-thirds vote in the Senate. Again, just to have that to happen, you're going to have at least 10 or more Democrats sign on for overturning a constitutional amendment on behalf of Donald Trump. Then after that, you need to have 38 out of 50 state legislatures, that would include blue states, going along with whatever it was. And then you'd have to have the governors of those 38 states signing off on it. That's what it takes to amend the Constitution. I cannot see the Democrats in the House, the Democrats in the Senate, Democrats in state legislatures in blue states, and then Democratic governors going along with this to allow Donald Trump to run for a third term. I just cannot possibly imagine how that would ever come through. So the question is, can you get around the 22nd Amendment? And that's what Trump and his people have been asking themselves. And so this is one of the theories that they've come around with. Put this up on the screen here from Substack. Uh, the reason for this is that the 22nd Amendment only prohibits someone from being elected more than twice. This is somebody who was speaking directly about how you could get around this. It says nothing about someone becoming president in some other way than being elected to office. Now, another scenario Clinker imagined is for Trump to encourage a family member to run for and win the White House. And then once elected, they would serve as little more than a figurehead president while Trump made the key decisions. So there is the scenario of like, can JD Vance run and then Donald Trump run as his VP? Technically, no, because Donald Trump has been elected twice. So even if he ran as the VP, essentially when you're electing a president, you're electing a ticket. So Donald Trump, if he ran as a VP, he would also be being elected there. And so that already violates the 22nd Amendment. You can't actually be elected a third time because still being elected as the VP, right? So there's the idea of him being like a figurehead. Like one of his children kind of like coming and being a figurehead, them running as a ticket, but then Trump is still technically back in the White House that way. There is also the way of, you know, he could be any citizen is capable of running as Speaker of the House. So he could run for Speaker of the House after he leaves, and then could just essentially convince his president and vice president to resign, which would allow the Speaker of the House to assume the role of the president. Because at that point in time, they're the third in line of succession. So there are some different avenues for Trump to be either actually the president again or effectively the president again. No one's ever attempted this because, well, most people actually care about the reason why the 22nd Amendment exists in the first place, but we know that Donald Trump doesn't really care about anything like that whatsoever. Do I think he will do it? I really don't know. It's not like the man doesn't want endless amounts of power. Donald Trump is the quintessential narcissist. The question is, will 4 more years of this, will an 83-year-old Donald Trump have the ability to do this again? I don't know. I really question that. Just seeing how he kind of fell off at during his campaign, just in 2024, doing less rallies than he had ever done, doing less events than he had ever done, taking more days off. I mean, he is still human to some degree. And I think that it's only a matter of time before he breaks down like every other man in their 80s. So I just don't see it. I feel like it's just a matter of he's just too old, thankfully. And I just cannot envision him having the ability to pursue another term in office, regardless of the fact that he probably wants to because he loves the attention and he probably also wants to avoid jail. Um, I do not know where this will all go next, if he will actually attempt it, what actually, they'll try to set up in order to maybe challenge this in courts. But, I think that we should all take Donald Trump very seriously when he does say that he wants to run again. I do think that this isn't just something that he's just saying for the sake of rousing people up. I do believe in my heart that Donald Trump does want to continue being president for the rest of his life. Thank you for watching this video of Independent Thought. If you liked the conversation, please go ahead and give the video itself a like, and be sure to subscribe for future episodes on the channel.